All right, fellas, the call you've been waiting for. Mikey P's on. He's going to break it down with us. We got Joel's on with us, too. Give it to us straight, Mike. We've all been excited, waiting for a corporate call designed just for men. I know you're laid up, and I know you're fighting through it for us on this one. We really appreciate that. But give us some words of advice, man.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on, Quentin. Look forward to hearing Joel after this, and you guys share a little bit more wisdom with the man cave. And I'm sure there's been some other people jump on this call as well. I'm sure there's some ladies and some team members jumping on to see what's going on. And I'm sitting here thinking tonight about what could we share about our experiences with people on this call that could help them build their business. And I think that so many times we get caught up in the conversations of the business, and we forget to take a lot of the actions that ultimately pay us for being involved in this business. So I'm a firm believer that transparency is the new currency in the world that we live in. On an earlier call today, somebody had wrote a few questions down, and they said, that they just assume that I'm always positive. And their question was, do you give tough love, or are you always a positive praiser to people? And I personally believe that being transparent, you can be very transparent, have direct conversations, have direct interaction with people, whether it's and be very positive, even if it's a topic that a lot of people don't want to admit or talk about. So tonight I really want to talk about a few different things, 3 in particular, that I think if you take them to heart, that they can help your business. Matter of fact, I don't think it. I know they will. If you take them to heart, they will help your business. But at the end of the day, you've got to take action upon them. I was talking to somebody the other day, and that's kind of what I want to start out with tonight. And they were telling me how many books they read during the month of October. They said, you wouldn't believe it. I read a book a day in October, and that's awesome. I mean, I remember when I was putting together Jump the Funk and some different things I did in the past on overcoming some of the business hurdles that we have, it was all about putting in the good, the clean, the pure, the positive, and getting out the junk. I mean, that is definitely a step. I mean, going and listening to positive people and getting inspired and learning how to lead better and do things. And I mean, I'm a sponge. I was constantly reading and listening to audio tapes and CDs, and now it's the iPods and the MP3s and the iTunes and all the stuff. And you need to do that. But what this person was talking about was leadership, and they said, "Man, I am such a better leader when I read these 30 books last month." And I said, "Well, actually, you're not." And they looked at me, and they said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, that's really good. You need to keep doing that. But what you really are is somebody who just read a book a day for 30 days, and you read 30 books at the end of the month. That doesn't make you a leader." And, of course, they're looking at me, and they're searching. It was a guy, and he's searching for his place, not only in it works, but in the world. Like, what am I doing to become better? And I said, listen, I'm not here to down reading books. You need to read books. I do it every single day of my life. You need to encourage yourself by, saying those things. But two of the most powerful words that you hear from books in the English language you hear is I am. I am, then whatever you say after that, guess what? You are. So a lot of self-talk goes into what we do, but also feeding our minds with the good, the clean, the pure, the positive, and getting out the junk. But that's not leadership. And I think that the guys on this call, you need to hear it from a way that a lot of us understand it. And I got to pull out a Braveheart reference. And no, I'm not going to scream freedom for you guys. I know that would make Quentin and Joel just love that. But I'm not going to do that.
We wouldn't hate it. You wouldn't
hate it. But I want y'all to remember back to the movie Braveheart. Mel Gibson, William Wallace. You got Scotland over here. You got the English over here, and they're on that epic battlefield. And I'm talking about leadership now. So I want you to think about this, because at first I believe knowledge is power. You've got to know where you're at, what you're working towards, before you can ever think about getting there. So we want to talk about how you lead people right now and what you do. And when I think about that epic battle, you saw the English over on one side, and in the front they had the general type army. Then behind them they had the sword people. Then behind them they had the archers, and behind them they had the kind of the higher end guys on horses. And then behind them you had the generals in the head, and had all the armor and looked amazing. I mean, it looked cool, had the feathers coming out of their hats, and all they did was direct people. They would point, send the archers, send the infantry, send send the swordsman, send the horseman, and they would direct them. And in It Works, you can't direct people. You've got to lead them. You know, and you look at the other side, you look at William Wallace, you look at this group of, I mean, they were just people that had everything to lose. They also had everything to gain if they won. But, I mean, they were going to lose their homeland. They were going to lose their families, their wives, their kids, their freedom. They were going to lose that if they didn't win this battle. But when you look at William Wallace, look at that leadership style. He had the face paint on just like his team. He was dressed just like his team. He had the sword just like his team members did. He had the shield just like his team members did. And most importantly, he was in the front of his team.
Yeah.
He was there to lead the charge. One of the most powerful words in leadership in the English language, and I'm sure it can be translated in a lot of other languages, but what I found is one of the most powerful words in leadership is let's. Let's go conquer this army. Let's go have a rap party. Let's have a night where we get together as guys and gals or whatever it may be, and let's get 4 or 5 people together and text people in the A's, B's, and C's. Let's go out and blitz people on Black Friday. Let's. Not you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. Hey, your team, you should really do this. Your team should do this. See, leadership, when you're looking to become a leader in this company, when you're looking to become a leader in your life, you've got to put in that good, the clean, the pure, the positive, and get out the junk, but you can't go into management mode. Leaders aren't management. It's all about a little less conversation, a lot more action. You've heard that being said a lot lately, and that's going to continue carrying through this year as well as into the next year. But you've got to have the mindset of let's go build our business. Now, when we say let's go build our business, what should we be focusing on? Well, knowledge is power, right? So let's talk about what makes us money. Because I think that you're here on this call for really one reason and one reason only. You want something out of It Works to better your life. You want more money. You want money to go buy other stuff. You want money to give back to others. You want to get out of a job you're stressed out about. You want to get your spouse out of something else. You want to be able to provide your kids a better lifestyle. You want to buy a new car. You want to pay cash for a home. You want to get out of credit card debt. Whatever it is, you want something for your efforts to go into it. But I think that so many times people get caught in the conversation and they're not focused on what makes them money. Now, how do we get paid and It Works? When you break it down, you get paid 2 ways. 2. Not 3, not 4, not 5, not 1, not just 1. You get paid 2 ways. You get paid to recruit new business into It Works, new distributors and new loyal customers. They order the product, they use the product, they share the product. You get paid to do that. That's getting paid one time. The other way you get paid is to retain that business. You get paid to retain those loyal customers. You get paid to retain those distributors, ordering the product, consuming the product, sharing that product with others, and that pays you for a lifetime. So your job every day, when you wake up, when you go out to build It Works Global, your job is 2 things. Recruit new business, retain existing business as often and for as long as you possibly can. The problem is most people don't realize most of the things that they're doing every day, and the guys are so bad at this. You may be thinking right now, how many of you on this call, I mean, I know the call's muted, but I want you to answer this honestly. Transparency, right? If you can't be transparent with yourself, you know, in your own house or wherever you may be, driving or whatever, then you're definitely not going to be transparent building a team. So be honest with yourself. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything to build this business, but you're just not getting ahead? Answer that honestly to yourself. Hey, I know how you feel. I remember feeling that way. I felt that way. I remember going out every single day, and I'd build the business, I'd build the business, I'd build the business, I'd build the business, and all of a sudden I had nothing to show for it. It left me confused, frustrated, not having a clue what I was doing. Hey, I know how you felt. What I found over time through being a distributor, through being an owner, through being an executive in network marketing, staying in this industry. You know, I've been fortunate enough. This is the profession that we've been in. I've not been, in different professions where I'm a sales guy over here or a car salesman or an attorney, and I found this profession, right? I've been in this profession the whole time. So when I see what people go through, because I know how they feel, as I felt it, that we feel like we're doing everything on a daily basis, one of the things that I've absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt is that when you really evaluate what you're doing to build your business on a daily basis, upwards of 50%, upwards of 50% are not directly tied to creating new recruits, loyal customers, distributors, new business, or directly tied to the retaining of existing business. 50%, upwards of 50%. Now think about that. Put that in perspective for a second. You're out there, you got your William Wallace paint on, you're leading the charge, you're going to go out there and you're going to take care of your family, you're going to get out of a sucky job that you hate, you're going to retire your spouse, you're going to give your kids the life you know they deserve, but you're frustrated, you're confused, you don't have a clue what you're doing. You know in your head that you're doing everything possible to build this business, but yet you're not where you want to be. But when you peel back all the layers, I can tell you, and I'm going to tell you how to alleviate this, but I can tell you probably upwards of 50% of what you're doing that you think is building your business is not directly tied to the things that pay you. And let's face it, you need to do the things that pay you, not the things that don't pay you. A trap that a lot of people fall into is, I call it simply, caught in conversation. And that can happen to whether you're a ruby, an emerald, a diamond, double diamond. You can be triple presidential, ambassador, black diamond. It doesn't matter what your title is. You can get caught in the conversation. And what I mean by that is that you can be talking about this business. You can be all in with this business, but you're not directly doing activities consistently every day that directly impact the recruiting of new business and the retaining of existing business. So how do we evaluate this? Well, this is the hard part for especially guys. And I know how you feel. When I'm getting ready to say this, I felt the same way. I didn't like this. I did not like what I'm getting ready to tell you to do. I am hard-headed, stubborn as they come, just like a lot of you all out there. I think I already know it. I think that I'm the exception of the rule and that I don't have to do this. I can figure it out on my own, right? I'm listening to this and I'm going, I don't need to do that. I'll remember what I do. Well, let me ask you this. Last Sunday, last Monday, last Tuesday, last Wednesday, last Thursday, last Friday, last Saturday, can you sit down right now on a piece of paper and write down what you did to build your business on Sunday, what you did to build your business on Monday, what you do to build your business on last Tuesday, last Wednesday, last Thursday, last Friday, last Saturday? Try that out tonight. Last week, what did you do to build your business? It's going to be scary for a lot of people on this call because you're not going to remember. You're going to remember the one or two things that you did that stick out in your mind that were positive. But when you look at that, all of a sudden you either have a long list of conversation that's not directly impacting your business, or you don't have a list at all because you don't really know what you're doing daily to build your business. Leaders get caught up in the conversation of managing their business. They're talking about it, right? They're talking about what they're going to do. They're talking with others. I'll pick on the guys tonight because I think I can be very transparent with anybody, but especially guys. I think if you're on Facebook and you're communicating with your buddies and you're talking to them or you're calling people, you're texting them, guys, that's not building your business. You've got to be intentional every day in building your own business. And when you do that, don't have upwards of 50% of the things not directly impacting the recruiting and retention of existing business. So here's what you do. First, write down last week. Write down everything you remember that you did for your business, that you believe, this is building my business. Evaluate that after this call. And then what I'd like you to do is start tonight. Do this week. Now, I know this is a short week. It's a holiday, but hey, that'll make it easy for you, right? Last week, you won't remember a whole lot, but you write down this week. It's a short week, so you get it almost a pass on this project, but you can write down Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Write down this week. You know, today's Monday, so you got to go back and remember yesterday, remember Monday. When you wake up tomorrow, whatever you do in your mind that you're doing to build your business, I want you to write it down. So if you send a text, I want you to write down, sent text to Joel. Whatever it may be, I want you to document it. Because here's what happens. If you don't know what you're doing at a minimum to build your business every day or at least every week, you're going to get caught up in the conversation and you're not going to be taking the actions that develop you into somebody who's leading by example, that William Wallace type leadership. You're going to be like the English. You're going to be the guy that's just pointing, talking about it, telling other people what they need to be doing, and you feel like that's building your business. But you're not in the battlefield saying, let's go do it. Let's go do it. Let's go do it. So write that down. See, the word intentional is very powerful. I don't know how, I don't know another word that is more powerful in building your business on a daily and weekly basis. The word intentional building of your business. You've got to be intentional. You see, a lot of you probably still have jobs, and you're working very part-time, spare time to build this business, or maybe your spouse is in the business. And if your mind is thinking, I have to go recruit a bunch of other guys or a bunch of other women or a bunch of other couples or a bunch of other whatever, you got to have your mind out of that. Don't worry about who you get. You simply need to follow the system and be intentional on doing the minimum, at least the minimum of what you know you're doing every day. I'll use Quentin for an example. Let's just say, you know, Quentin's got a family, he's got a busy life, he's going on, but Quentin's going to know every day I'm going to blitz 2 people, I'm going to post on Facebook twice, I'm going to text out, have you tried that crazy rap thing, to at least 10 people, and I am going to put a picture up on Instagram of what I'm doing for the day to show my team that I'm building a business. Let's just say that is the minimum of what Quentin's going to do to build his business every day. Well, if I show up at Quentin's house, I catch a jet, I fly over to Kansas City at 3:30 in the morning tonight, I should be able to wake him up dead sleep and say, Quentin, what are you doing to build your business this week? He should be able to crank that off. I'm blitzing 2 people at minimum. I'm posting on Facebook twice. I'm posting a picture. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. You got to know the minimum of what you're doing. If you don't know the minimum of what you're doing, there's no way you're ever going to reach your maximum. You see, I'm not telling you to set a big goal for yourself that you can't reach. I'm not saying you got to blitz 10 people a day to be successful in this business. You don't. But you got to blitz at least somebody. You've got to post at least something. You've got to communicate with somebody. You've got to do activities consistently, either on a daily or at least a weekly basis, to have monthly results. You've got to do it. So write down last week, and that's really just an exercise to jar you a little bit, because most of you won't remember what it is. And then you got to evaluate and say, man, if that's all I remember what I did, I know I did more, but if that's all I can remember, is that enough to get you where you want to go? Probably not. This week, write that down. And then next, be intentional. Be intentional with your plan. Come up with the minimum of what you're going to do every single week to build your business that directly impacts recruiting of new business and retaining of existing. Figure out what that is. And the last thing I'll share tonight is use that William Wallace example. Be a leader that says, let's go do it. You know, this is the end of November, guys. Christmas cash is absolutely changing people's lives. We put that goal out there that 100,000 people pay cash for Christmas. I can tell you this. Those of you that are sitting back right now, you are missing the boat. If you're sitting back going, man, it's already Tuesday tomorrow, I got a couple days off, I got Thanksgiving, I got this, you're missing it. You see, because that's what the masses are thinking. The masses are thinking, I got time off. What you should be thinking is, I got one day off because that's Thanksgiving, I'm going to spend it, but take advantage when others aren't, so you can have for the rest of your life what others can't. You've heard that cliche before, but it's so true. Oh, man, it's true. I've had some of my best personal recruiting months in November and December around the holidays. I'll never forget, a Christmas Eve, I personally enrolled 7 people several years ago, because think about this. Other people are taking time off. People look at November, even though Thanksgiving is one day, they think the whole month is free time. And I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself. Guys, I'm not saying that. But I am saying that if you're not happy where you're at, you've got to make the choices, intentional choices, to have less conversation, take a lot more action, and say, let's go. In December, the same thing. You've got Christmas. It's a day. It's an amazing day. But you can work right up to that. Because here's the reality. If you're the guy out there planting the seeds during November and having some success, and you're planting even more seeds daily, and all of a sudden it's the 23rd of December, and you call up your prospects for that day, or you're out in the marketplace and you see somebody that you've connected with the last 2 weeks, the timing may be right, or maybe it's not right. But here's the reality. You're going to be the one out front. All these other companies, all these other opportunities, all these things that get people's attention, see, they're taking off right now. That's when you get on. That's when you take advantage of the timing when others won't. Because here's what I assure you. The day after Thanksgiving on that Black Friday, when the guys and the gals see the credit card bills, a lot of stress is going to come. You need to be there to show them how to alleviate that. I assure you, people are going to be really a lot easier to turn you down in December. Call them first thing on the 26th. Because I assure you, they'll be back at that job that they hate. They'll be back and looking at this credit card going, oh, my gosh, I didn't realize. I forgot to budget that in. You got to be the person there when that hits. And the only way you're going to do that is by having that William Wallace-type leadership. The let's go do it. Have the face paint on, be dressed with your guys, say, let's go do it. I would suggest to you right now, the rest of November, and guys, hey, it's fun getting together with guys, but I'm telling you right now, the smart men, you're not only working with guys, you're working with the gals too. I mean, this is a company that's very easy that you can work with guys or gals. I mean, if you got a friend that says, I'm not interested, say, great. How would you like your girlfriend, your wife, to make an extra $2,000 a month like mine is? Let me put my wife on the phone with your wife. Let me put my wife on the phone with your girlfriend. Hey, do you have a sister? If a guy tells you no, that's just the no for him. He knows somebody. Don't necessarily ask him for his buddies' names because he may feel a little uncomfortable doing that. Hey, how would you like your wife to be able to rewire you from your job? Let me put you on the phone with mine, or let me talk to her. You got to keep asking for those referrals. But you have that William Wallace-type philosophy of let's go do it. The rest of November, here's what I challenge you to do. Whether it's guys, gals, couples, whatever it is. There's a few things that we do on a weekly basis that are activities, that are action that lead towards the recruiting of new business and the retaining of existing. We blitz. We blitz online through Facebook. We blitz through text message. We blitz in person. We have wrap parties. We wrap people. But let's just talk about blitzing and party pad presentations. Why not text a few people out tonight that's on your team? I don't care who they are. Say, hey, let's get together at Starbucks for lunch tomorrow over one cup of coffee or whatever you're drinking there. And let's text everybody in the A's. Let's just meet up and do it. Let's do it. Hey, let's get together at my house Tuesday night, and we're just going to get together for 30 minutes, and let's text through the B's. Have you tried that crazy rap thing? You see, you've got to lead by example. You lead by example. You got to feed your mind. Put in that good, the clean, the pure, the positive, get out the jump, but then lead by example. And let's have an amazing, intentional, less conversation, more action Go-Vember. So, guys, thanks for having me on tonight. I appreciate it. I'll turn the call over to you, Quentin and Joel. I'm ready to rock it out.
Well, here's the deal, man. Much love and respect and appreciation. I tell you what I'm going to take away from this. I got to know my minimum to reach my maximum. I think that's a great quote. There's so much good stuff in here. I asked Joel to be on because I knew you weren't feeling well, Mike, and really digging deep to do this call for us. But I really don't feel like I want to add anything to this call. I want to leave it like it is. Joel, I'll let you say anything you want to say here, but maybe something that struck a chord with you from this. But I love to know your minimum to reach your maximum. That's good stuff, Mikey, and I really, really appreciate you being on here. Joel, what do you got for us?
I'm just like you. I mean, he hit everything right on the head. And the thing is, and we've been talking about this at the last couple boot camps, the last couple green carpets, it's action, 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 some more action, and then add some more action to it. That's pretty much it. I mean, I've never seen a farmer gather a harvest without doing the work before. So you can't just sit around. It's net working, not net sitting. So it's just that simple. Get out and, like you said, find that minimum so that you know what you have to achieve, and then you can even build it from there. So start small, get those great ones going, and then start adding to it. But, yeah, it just boils down to getting out and doing something.
I love it, man. I really appreciate you, Mike. And, I'm probably going to dig in your pockets again and ask you to come back and do a follow-up call on, I think there's a lot of guys out here struggling right now. We're not going to talk about it tonight, but we'll talk about it again. Finding their place in this business, what they can do, what they can't do, what's right for them, what's not. And I think people lose, maybe they don't even know, but people might lose perspective on the idea that you've been in this business for this amount of years. This is all you've done. You've been a man in a woman's world because you've worked in It Works. You've worked with a lot of different products that cater to women, and we hear that a lot from guys. So we may dig in your pocket for that, some advice on that down the road, but
absolutely.
I really appreciate you being
take
on.
Advantage
I know you have a lot
of
going on.
That last little bit of let's go do it, and I don't care, every man, woman, and child, they can go out there and they can say let's do this, and they can get together. One of the great things that guys can do in any business is expose people to the business, expose people to the product, expose people to what you're doing. You may need some follow-up support. Hey, I've always had follow-up support. I mean, I can talk to somebody, I can talk to a woman about the opportunity. I can talk about the product, but when it comes down to it, maybe the wife is the one who wraps the person or whatever. And I think that start with the action steps and then the follow-up, the follow-through. Maybe we'll have another call about that. Yeah.
Well, again, man, I really appreciate it. I know you got a lot going on. And Joel, I appreciate you playing backup for us, too. And, hey, guys, great call. And let's Pimp, don't forget to say something there about the Show Me the Money call coming up, Joel. You're on that one. Who's all on that one tonight? Remind us.
It's going to be us. I got to go check because I know.
I think it's Christy.
Yeah, Christy today. Yep. Murph, Darlene.
Yeah,
there's a whole group of us. It's going to be awesome.
So, and it's like in 15 minutes. So we'll get off the thing. We'll say good night to you, and we'll hear from you here in a few minutes. And again, Mike, thanks a ton for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Awesome, guys. Go rock out.